broadcasters. Welcome to episode 206 of the StreamYard Live Town Hall. My name's Gage, and I'm here with Dan, of course. Dan, how are you doing?
Man, I'm doing good. How you doing?
Doing well. It's been a good week. I am slightly under the weather, so if my voice sounds strange at all, please excuse me. But yeah, it's great to be here. And for anyone new here, Dan and I are the founders of StreamYard, and we do these town halls every single Sunday at 6 p.m. Pacific, and we do them for a few reasons. One is to stay in tune with all of you, go through the same flow that y'all do with your own shows and productions. Two is to answer any of your questions. That's why we call it Ask StreamYard. We love discussing your ideas and topics and feedback. So feel free to leave anything you have for us in the chat. We'll do our best to get to as many as we can. And then I always mention the three pillars of StreamYard, which are ease of use, stability, and professional streams. So if you're about those three things, StreamYard is the tool for you. Nice to see people hanging out from all over the world tonight. I see Thailand, very, very cool. St. Louis, awesome to see all of you here. San Diego, of course, from West Coast Retrospective. We have a question from Eddie. Eddie says, how do you get your video intro to be so crisp and HD? Well, I appreciate that you like the look of it, Eddie. The video for intros, the video clips option is a really great option to make it look great because it doesn't depend on your internet connection. So unlike a guest feed or something like that, where the quality is going to depend on how strong the person's internet connection is, by using the clips, you upload it to StreamYard beforehand, and it's going to play directly from StreamYard's server. So it allows it to be really high quality, and then also making sure that the sort of bitrate of the video and resolution is optimized for StreamYard, which you can see the info for that on the clips section. Any other thoughts on that one, Dan?
No, I don't think so.
Cool. Before I forget, I should mention all of our great shows. So we got YouTube channel reviews with Dee and Daniel the second Saturday of every month. They just had one a couple weeks ago that was really great. If you missed it live, you should definitely check it out. They had a really fun intro video for that. And we have Enhance Your Live Streams the last Tuesday of the month with Nick Nimmin. Nick is a pro when it comes to all things video. So if you're looking for specific live streaming tips, definitely check that one out. And YouTube channel reviews is great for any advice when it comes to growing on YouTube. Things like thumbnails, how to interpret your analytics. Tons of great feedback from Dee and Daniel, who are pros. And one thing we've been doing to start out these town halls so that we get to know a little bit more about you, you get to know a little bit more about us, is a fun fact. And the fun fact we had for today was, did you watch the World Cup today? And who were you rooting for?
Cool.
What about you, Dan?
Yeah, for anyone who hasn't seen it yet, I guess. Hopefully we're not ruining it for you. Yeah, I was rooting for, first and foremost, I just wanted to be, like, I haven't watched too many soccer games at all recently, but I did want to watch the World Cup. I was rooting for Argentina, specifically for Messi. I thought it'd be cool to see him actually win a World Cup. But mostly I just wanted it to be a cool game. Like, I wanted it to be fun to watch. How about you?
Cool. Yeah, I don't follow soccer/football super closely, but I have obviously heard of Messi, and I thought it would be really cool for him to win a World Cup. So I was rooting for Argentina, but I didn't actually catch the game. I'll have to watch the replay or some of the.
It was quite
highlights.
a game.
Yeah, I heard it was amazing. Cool. We got Jillian tuning in from Las Vegas. Nice to see you here, Jillian. All right, what else did we have? The first subject we wanted to mention today was over the last few weeks, we've launched quite a few new things. So just curious if there's any feedback on the new features, notably things like local recordings and on air. There was a smaller change with video overlays. So curious if there's any thoughts, requests, or feedback in general on those new features.
Cool. Yeah, and specifically, if there's anything you'd want us to add to them, so if maybe you've used local recordings and there's some added functionality you'd really love to have, that'd be great to know. Or same thing with on air, just any new things to add on top of what we already have, or if you had any issues, if anything was confusing, it's always useful to know that as well.
I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing this right, but Dritman says, please suggest how to go live on Instagram. So Instagram does not have an official API yet. So the best way to go live on Instagram is from the app itself. So just on your phone. They are slowly starting to test and roll out the ability to stream through RTMP. So if you are one of the lucky folks who has gotten access to that, you can actually use the custom RTMP option from StreamYard to stream into Instagram. We're hoping that Soon they'll make a direct API integration, so you don't have to deal with the URL and key. But it is possible if you do happen to have access. And in terms of finding out how, I think if you just go into maybe it's best to check the docs. Do you remember off the top of your head, Dan?
No.
We do. I think we do have it in our docs. If you just go to StreamYard.com/contact and type in Instagram, I think there are some pictures that walk you through how to check. But I think it's a pretty small sample of folks that have access,
yes,
right?
Very small.
So unfortunately, you probably don't have access, but you never know. There definitely are some folks who do. I saw a question earlier asking about how the limits work for the new plans and StreamYard on air. Call Me was asking me if you lose, or asking us if you lose the subscribers. So those limits aren't subscribers. So like StreamYard doesn't limit how many subscribers you can have on YouTube or anything like that. Those limits are specifically for StreamYard on air. So just the number of people that can be watching you at the same time on StreamYard, and you'll never lose those limits. So whatever plan you're on, you'll continue to have that many viewers. But again, it doesn't limit anything on social media. It's just specifically for on air. There's no limit to the number of people that can watch on YouTube or Facebook. All right, let's see what else we had here. Corinda says, guess what I'm doing for Black Friday and Cyber Monday? I don't know. Let us know. Or what you did. Let us know. Christoph says, would it be possible to have a permanent fixed overlay? It's annoying to have to put up the mainframe back when you use another overlay to display something else. You want to take that one, Dan?
Yeah, I'm just making sure I'm understanding it. So, yeah, let me know if I'm summarizing this correctly, but it sounds like maybe you have an overlay where there's something, let's say, in the top corner or bottom corner of the screen, and then there's also maybe another thing you want to have on screen. So it's kind of like an overlay with multiple things going on. In that case, like you said, you can only have one overlay up on screen. So what we typically recommend is just add whatever the, what did you call it? The fixed overlay you're talking about. You just add that to all of your overlays. So let's say you wanted something at the bottom of the screen that's always there, and then you're kind of changing what's going on elsewhere. You just put that bottom part in all of your, like if you have transparent PNG files or GIFs, you can put that part in all of your files, and then each one of them will have that. And when you switch between them, the bottom will just stay the same, and then the other parts on the screen will change as needed. That's sort of the workaround. At some point, we may support having multiple overlays. We've just always erred on the side of making it as simple to use as possible. And if we allow you to have multiple on screen, it'd be harder to kind of show and hide all of them dynamically. So that's why we don't do that. But always good feedback. And yeah, let us know if that works or if I'm kind of misunderstanding the question.
Cool. Let us know. Christoph, Shabaka says, what's new with video overlays? So there haven't been any changes to video overlays recently.
That's the show.
Oh, sorry. Yes,
you mentioned something was new. I think he's just asking what.
Oh, sorry. My mistake. There is actually something new. They fade out now, Shabaka. So it used to be sort of a hard cut after a video clip played, but now they fade slightly, so it looks nicer.
Yeah, it's very subtle. But if you play, for example, the countdown timer just in the studio, you play the video clip countdown timer, and then either turn it off or just wait for it to finish. You'll see the last second or so, it just fades out smoothly.
Awesome, Jillian. Super happy that you like the feature. Coach Jean says, I'm very new to StreamYard. What's the best starter video? That's a good question, Jean. If you just go to StreamYard, well, you're on the YouTube channel right now. So if you just go to the main page of StreamYard, I think it is actually the featured video, is Dana's full walkthrough of everything you could possibly need to know about StreamYard. I think that'd probably be a great place to start.
Yep.
Let's see. Small Town Tourist says, question, do guests have to stay until the end to get local recording? What happens if they leave early? So it depends how long they're doing the recording, right? So if say you have multiple guests and one guest is only there for, the first half of the show, and they leave after that first half, only that first half will be recorded. So it's the same way that, you'd have in a regular like in-person podcast, they have to actually be there for the content. But if you mean like what happens if they leave before they're done uploading, we do warn them, like, hey, you should give it a few seconds to finish uploading. It will depend on the quality of their connection. So if you have a high-speed internet connection, oftentimes it's done right as the broadcast finishes. But if they're on a slower connection, it might take a couple minutes to finish uploading, and they'll be prompted to like, hey, you haven't finished uploading yet, please finish uploading. If they do end up leaving, that the information isn't lost, it will still be on that device, and they can come back to that page at a later date, and it will finish uploading.
Yep. Or there's a special uploading page we have, and you can just send them a link to that page to finish uploading. You want to do it as soon as possible, just to make sure that they actually do it, and that they still have that same device. Like if you wait too long, you never know. Maybe they cleared all their browser storage or something. So ideally, get them back on there pretty quick if they do leave too early.
Cool. Annie says, please integrate Rumble. I have heard Rumble coming up more and more. So yeah, we're definitely open to adding additional destinations. So we'll have to look more into what kind of APIs they have and whatnot. Chris says, question about local recordings. Where will the local recordings of my guests be found? How will I get those? It's a good question, Chris. So if you have local recording enabled, they will be available in the past broadcasts section. If you just go into, do you remember the actual name?
Yeah. So in the past broadcast section, you'll see all your broadcasts listed, or even if you're in the studio, you'll see a button to download recordings. I'll start with the past broadcast page. There's just a view button, just says view. You click that, you'll go to a page that shows the mixed recording and then also all of the local recordings below that. If you're in the studio, you'll see the option to share. It says at the top, you click that, click download recordings, and you'll see a line for local recordings. If you click that button, it will also take you to the place with all of the local recordings, so you can download each one of them. Cool. But basically, your guests and your local recordings all end up in the same place for you to download all of them with just a button.
Absolutely. One other thing to note about local recordings that has come up a couple times is local recordings don't actually affect the mixed recording that you'll see in that same location. They just are for the individual tracks. So they won't actually like improve the quality of your mixed recording. It's just for if you're doing editing with those individual tracks. RJ says, at StreamYard, are you going to create a plan for those of us with disabilities? I've brought this up to support. I'd be curious, RJ, what functionality we're missing. We do try to make the site as accessible as possible. So maybe I could just go back to support if you've already reached out and checked the types of things that we're missing. But we definitely want to make it as accessible as possible. Daniel says, I was wondering if it's possible to have a green screen in the video. Yes, absolutely. We have several options for green screens. You can either have a physical green screen and use that, which will give you the best quality simply because it's simpler for our tech to essentially look at the pixels and see that it's green. But if you're looking for something quick and easy, we also have the virtual option, which uses AI to detect where you are versus your background. So both are good options for that.
Yep.
Zev says, hey, Dan, I tried downloading the local recording as requested, and I'm super excited to report that it worked 100% well. Big ups to StreamYard. Awesome, Zev.
Cool. Glad to hear
that. Visual Stenographer says, is there a way to move your branding from one live to another?
So
you want to take that one, Dan?
And specifically, so branding, but then overlays from one live to another. So if you can just confirm exactly what you're referring to, but I can kind of hopefully take a guess. So in the studio on the right side, you have the brand section, and then, as you know, you can put overlays in there. You can even have multiple brands, we call them. So you can have up to 10 brands to kind of sort your overlays and whatnot. You can access those in all of your streams. So when you upload them, they should be there for the next stream. If that answers your question, let me know, but I'm guessing maybe I'm missing something.
Cool. Yeah, let us know, Visual Stenographer.
And you can't duplicate a brand, I guess, if that's what you're asking as well. I don't know if that's what you're looking for, but see, there's no option to duplicate one brand and create a new one, but you can just use the same brand over and over for all your live streams.
Cool. Wanma says, is there any update plan to be able to broadcast in portrait mode in addition to the current landscape mode? Yes, absolutely. We want to support portrait mode as well as landscape, especially now that Instagram's starting to test with that RTMP option. So that is something that we are exploring. Clarine says, I was recently a guest on Christopher Johnson's show. It was weird being a guest when I'm so used to broadcasting my own shows. That's funny. Clarine, I'm curious, is there anything that we could be doing a better job of on the guest experience? I'd be curious if you have any thoughts there. But yeah, I do get it when you're used. I've had the same experience myself.
Yeah, you want to click on comments, right? Ooh, this is like a good one to show on screen, and then you realize, oh yeah, guests can't show comments on screen. Yeah, I've had that when switching a few things when switching back and forth. It is a little different. We try to make it as close as possible so it's familiar, though.
Absolutely. West Coast Retrospective says, question, is there a way to create a local recording room and save the recording or delete it without having to open a new local recording room every time? Sorry if my question doesn't make sense. So I think I understand it, West Coast Retrospective. So one request that has come up a lot that we do really want to make easier and add is right now, if you're doing a record-only stream, and you're not doing it just in one take, say you want to like redo it or start over, we don't have an easy way to do that now. That is something that we're working on and that we will be adding so that you don't have to constantly be starting from scratch. If you don't want to do it all in one take, but you do have to schedule, or you do have to create a unique link for each one. We figured that would be the best way to go about it, simply because you often are going to have new guests each week, and maybe you don't want to have someone that link get leaked and have people join who you don't want to join. So we figured that would be the simplest way to do it. Hopefully that answers the question. I'd be curious if the ability to sort of restart the recording would solve what you're looking for, or if that's not quite it.
Cool.
Ruben says, is there ever going to be a dark mode? It is really needed. It's definitely come up a lot, Ruben. It's just a matter of prioritizing it against all the other functionality that we're adding to StreamYard, but we definitely want to add it in the future. There are some alternatives out there as well that I think Dan's mentioned before in terms of like Chrome add-ons and stuff, right?
Yeah, there are Chrome extensions that will turn any site into a dark mode site. They're not going to be perfect, but they do work pretty well if just, you want to avoid glare on your glasses or something, like if you're getting really bad glare, for example. So yeah, if you just look up a Chrome extension dark mode, turn that on, it'll turn any site into dark mode.
Cool.
If you absolutely need dark mode.
Yeah. Yeah, we do know quite a few folks want a native functionality for it too. So
yep.
Just as a temporary solution. Claire says, do you think we will see changes in how long it takes for local recordings to finish, or the need for the guest to stay? I do a weekly show, and it's a bit of an ask if I have a guest who can't stay. So I'd be super curious, Claire, if you've used local recording and if it has been sort of a pain point where it's taking a while and they have to stay, or if this is something that you're just anticipating being an issue, because usually it's very fast. So usually after you've done a local recording, it's I do have fast internet, but for me personally, when I've participated in local recordings, it's only like 4 or 5 seconds for it to completely finish uploading. So it's definitely something that we can improve and make faster. I don't think there would ever be a situation where it would be instantaneous, just because if someone's on a poor internet connection, it's just going to take longer to upload. But there's certainly things we can do to make it faster. But
she did just follow up there as well. So
okay, wow. So half an hour is definitely a long time. I would be curious to look at, if you shoot an email, Claire, to contact@streamyard.com with a link to the broadcast. I would be curious to give you more info, because that is a super long time for an upload.
It is. Yeah. If their internet is slow, I mean, that can definitely happen, especially if the recording was quite long and, they're capturing in 1080p, for example. So it's definitely possible, but yeah, ideally we want it to go as fast as possible. There is certainly a limit though to how fast someone's internet can go, but yeah, it would be great. I'd love to make it faster, so might as well look into every possible case we can to try and make it faster.
Cayman says, RE local recording, still can't figure out the use case since it splits up my interviews. I need something that captures everyone. So that's really good feedback, Cayman. I appreciate that. So right now, the main use case is if you're someone who does editing after the fact in something like Adobe Premiere or something like that. But we definitely want to make it more useful for everyone, not necessarily folks that are just doing editing. So stay tuned on it. We definitely are going to work on a solution for folks that don't want to have to go to an editing program after the fact. We're going to be working on something that makes it where you can still use those even if you aren't doing a ton of post-production editing. Awesome. Cool. Lots of questions here. Ep says, is there a way to get StreamYard and YouTube to work without a 8 to 10 second delay? Do you want to take that one, Dan?
Very good question. Sort of. So there is a limit to how low we can get that. It's a YouTube thing. It's not really a StreamYard thing. It's just when you stream to YouTube, YouTube adds some delay to make sure the quality is good. I would say the lower you go, by the way, in terms of latency, in general, the worse the quality will be. Not necessarily that it will look worse, but that people will get more buffering and the spinning wheel. So you don't want to be careful. But if you have something where you want to be as low latency as possible, I believe there is a setting on YouTube you can change. I think it's last time I checked, there's 3 separate settings. So there's like a normal latency, low latency, and then ultra low latency or something they call it. So if you need to be super low latency, you can actually switch it. I believe it's on the low latency by default. That's what we set it to, which is about 5 to 10 seconds. But if you want it even lower, there is a setting for that that'll bring it down to a few seconds. But like I mentioned, it is at the expense of quality. So we choose that low latency one because we find it's kind of the best balance. But yeah, if you want low latency, you can get it a little bit lower, but it's not going to be a second or half a second or something like that.
Awesome. Thanks, Claire. Glad that you're enjoying it. Cool. Jillian says, feature request, could you provide studio guests with the ability to see the countdown clock to a scheduled live start time? So Jillian, correct me if I'm misunderstanding your question. So one thing we did add not that long ago is when you're playing a video clip or a countdown timer, there is a bar that indicates like how much time is left, because one thing that was happening is maybe guests could be surprised because they wouldn't know exactly when that video would end. So curious, are you asking that instead of like the bar that there's an actual time shown? Or
yeah, I think this isn't for the clip. I think this is for when you've scheduled a stream, say to go live at 6 p.m. Pacific in our case, the guest will see, hey, the stream is going live in 5 minutes, 4 minutes, 59 seconds. Like it's the countdown that hosts have, I think, in the top corner next to the go live button. Guests don't have that. So I think, Gillian, correct me if I'm wrong, you're talking about that countdown where it actually shows the guests, hey, we're planning to go live in 10 minutes, 5 minutes, etc.
Cool. Yeah, let us know.
And by the way, just a follow-up for Claire, and I think you might already know this, Claire, but she was the one asking about local recordings and taking half an hour. So you can send your guests, like if they have to leave, you can send them to the uploads page later, and then just kind of open that tab and leave it. Like if the problem is that they want to leave the studio, they have to go do something right now, they could always leave and come back to the uploads page or even back to the studio, and it will finish uploading later. Still not perfect, but
cool. Carlette says, SY is ridiculously easy to use, stable, and reliable. We've been using SY for church services since the first week of the pandemic restrictions and continue to use without a hitch. Kudos to the SY team. Thanks so much, Carlette. That's so amazing to hear. Super happy that it's working well for you.
Cool. Yeah, always nice to hear that.
All right, let's see what else we had. Daniel says, is there an enable of a countdown? So we do have a sample countdown timer that you can use, Daniel, just in the video clip section, but you can also upload your own.
Yep. Yeah, even on the free plan, I believe you can upload a video.
Yep. Layden says, any thoughts on making 1080p available to everyone? In the future, who knows? It is the one thing about StreamYard, the way it works is unlike software that runs on your own computer, StreamYard software actually runs on StreamYard's computers, and that's why it still works well on low power devices like Chromebooks and things like that. So it does cost quite a bit of money for us to actually mix and encode and send your stream out. So that's one of the main reasons for the sort of differences of what quality levels are on each plan, is because it takes more processing power. But as things get more efficient and time goes on, it's certainly possible that we might open that up to more plans.
Yep. All
right. Let's see what else. Should we go ahead and start? Time has gone by fast. Do you want to start queuing up the giveaway tool, Dan?
You betcha. What are we giving away today?
Yeah, tonight, let's go ahead and give away. We haven't given away the StreamYard duck for a while, so let's do a StreamYard plush duck and a StreamYard hoodie. And to be eligible, Dan's got it right there. Awesome. If you type in hashtag the yard, you will be eligible. We'll give you 15-20 seconds or so to get in your hashtag the yards. And if you're ever interested in doing a giveaway like this yourself, we actually made this available if you go to streamyard.com/giveaway. All right. Tristan says, Dan, what is the upload page? Same studio link or a single page for all stream uploads?
Single page. So I'll put it in the chat really quickly.
It's just StreamYard.com/upload, right, Dan?
You got it.
Yeah, if you haven't seen it yet, you should check it out. It's a pretty cool. You'll see like the animation and how it looks and stuff. It's a nice page.
Yep, just posted in the chat. So yeah, StreamYard.com/upload.
Daniel says, will it be possible in the future to choose different transitions for overlays? Yes, Daniel, that's definitely something we're looking more into, is how can we keep the product super, super easy, but give more flexibility for folks that are looking for more customization. So that's definitely possible.
And if you can let us know as well what transitions you'd like to see, that would be great. It just helps us think about it. Like, is this a fade out? Is it? I'm just thinking of all like there's a whole bunch of possible transitions we could do. I was actually picturing all the Google slide PowerPoint transitions, but there's a lot of just common video transitions. I'd be curious if like certain things related to that, or just what you'd like to see. If it's just you want to control that it fades out slower or faster, or no fade, that'd be great to know.
Claire says, question about sending links via Facebook and Instagram. The image that populates leads people to their own account or a sign-up page, I think. Unless they click the actual link, it leads them to the wrong place. So if that's the case, Claire, that's definitely a bug, and we should fix that. We definitely don't show – we need to update the sort of thumbnail picture that populates, because it's not very indicative of like that you're joining a studio. So that's definitely something we want to add. I did not know that clicking the image sent to a different link. So we'll definitely look into that.
That shouldn't happen. Yeah. But
yeah, the intention is definitely for it to be the same link, but we'll double check that and make sure. All right. Should we go ahead and do the giveaway, Dan? Are the entries stable?
You betcha. Let's just pull that banner off. Perfect. All right. For a plush duck and a hoodie. Good luck, everyone.
Yes. Good luck. Packer Dude, congrats. We'll give it to you anyway, Packer Dude. But has Packer Dude won in the past?
I'm not sure. Maybe Packer Dude, let us know if you have won before.
Let's just do one more just in case. Anyways, we'll send it to you regardless, Packer Dude. But I think it's either your name's you're in the chat every single night, so I might be incorrectly thinking that you've won before. But regardless, we'll send it to you. But let's do it one more time just in case.
Cool. Let's do it. Good luck, everyone. All right.
G23, congrats. Thanks so much for hanging out with us tonight. So yeah, if both of you could shoot an email to contact@streamyard.com. We can coordinate with you on getting your shipping information and size and all of that fun stuff.
Cool.
All right.
Packer Dude has not won, so we have 2 winners tonight.
All right. Well, it's 2 giveaways regardless. Cool. And with that, this was episode 206 of the StreamYard Live Town Hall. Again, thanks so much for hanging out with us. We'll still be here next week, even though it's the holidays. So yeah, thank you all so much for hanging out with us, and we'll see you next week at the same time, 6 p.m. Pacific.
Awesome. See you next week, everyone.